in this work we set out to understand how heart cell clocks regulate beat rate during the day. Our study shows that ions such as sodium, potassium and chloride are imported and exported with a 24-hour rhythm. And the daily variation that we measured is about 20–30%, both in cardiomyocytes and in vivo in tissues. And this variation is sufficient to affect the depolarization phase of action potential firing, which confers an intrinsic daily variation in firing rate to the heart and to heart cells.
The potential impacts of our findings is that it allows us to maybe understand the increased incidence of adverse cardiovascular events that occur during the morning, particularly in the old and also in shift workers. And the idea would be that shift work and aging both lead to a disruption of these daily rhythms in ion transport within heart cells, and this is what makes them more vulnerable to things going wrong, such as arrhythmias, when an increased demand is placed on the heart, particularly in the early morning. We know that when your circadian rhythm goes wrong during aging, or because of various lifestyle choices, or because of genetic lesions, there is an increased incidence with a whole range of different diseases such as cardiovascular, neurodegeneration, diabetes and so forth. And so that's why we need to understand it.
The fundamental biology of how the body clock works is really not fully understood or appreciated, especially in drug discovery. The concept of chronopharmacology is a really exciting and underappreciated opportunity. How do we best time our drugs to be coincident with the body clock to give, again, the maximum chance of efficacy in some critical diseases with unmet need?
Industry and academia often have a different perspective on scientific questions and different approaches. So I think having inputs from both sides is really interesting and stimulating and can expand one's way of thinking.
Having LMB next to AstraZeneca really enormously lowers the activation energy for us to work together, just by bringing people with different questions but overlapping interests and techniques together.
So with that benefit, that academic viewpoint and the translational viewpoint of the industry perspective and how we might apply and take the research into different areas, I think it really has been more than the sum of the parts of the academic or just the industry perspective.